So he actually, this is not a new idea. It's not something we've figured out how to do as a civilization yet. We're on that path, but you can, if you take, his theory is something like palladium or another like radioactive material that is a strong alpha or beta particle emitter that you could put on a tool. It would ablate either in neutrons or it's blasting electrons or something. It would ablate the stone surface away in such a way that you could carve this stone with ease, kind of like a lightsaber basically, and it would also leave a signature in the stone. And you
fuck yeah.
And you take it back to that penetration rate of that spiral tube drill.
Yeah.
It's not all we can say about things like that spiral tube drill and the other striations and tool marks is, look, it doesn't seem to be the same thing we do to the stone, and it's certainly not primitive. It's not something you can do just by hand. So,
has anybody the cores? Has anybody tested the radioactive levels of the cores?
I think I don't know. He might have tested the cores when he was there recently. I'll talk to him. I was talking to him this morning. I can ask him about the core. That's a great question. Because if it was the process, it should show something similar, if that's indeed the process. The other possibility is, okay, they weren't machined with this method, but these were used in some method. The other theory he has that these may have been part of a process for enriching material for some other nuclear use, or they were part of a system that used nuclear material.
They had advanced nuclear science somehow or another. That's just too much. It's not too much, but it's too much. It's too crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. But also, like, when you do see some of the sculptures that look 3D printed, and you go, oh, well, okay, now it kind of at least makes a little sense.
Yeah.
See, if we knew for sure that there was a cataclysm and a lost civilization, that civilization had achieved some immense heights of technological sophistication in a completely different pathway than we've done in modern times.
Yeah.
If we knew that for sure, then everything would be so easy. You'd go, okay, well, clearly they were doing something. What were they doing? But instead, we deny that possibility. So by closing off that door, now you're left with nonsense. You're left with sand and copper, and it's dumb.
I agree. I agree. I think it's...
Because something fucking crazy happened.
Yes. Yes. I think there is that. This is. I try to follow the evidence where it leads. That's all we're doing here with. I'm quoting what Max has said about it with this nuclear machining hypothesis.
And here's
a lot more study needs to happen.
The nuclear machining hypothesis. Sorry to interrupt you, but if you go 1,000 years from now, for sure we're going to have that.
Yeah, that's yes. I'd like to put the same context in these arguments forward as well. It's like we just don't. To me, the answer is, we tend to look at the past and it always has to be this subset of what we know, right? Yeah. But it's like if you look at the history of knowledge and technology, give us 50,000, 50 years, 1,000 years, 50,000 years, you know that there's more out here to the sides that we're going to learn.
Right.
So that means there are realms of science and technology that we don't know anything about. I think if we were a bit more open-minded about investigating some of these mysteries of the past with some of these inexplicable characteristics, the precision or the machining, the engineering things, how the stone was cut, I think some of those answers could lay in those realms of the unknown. And by being open-minded about them and by investigating them with all of our capability, we might even end up learning something about them, which is what we're doing. Like the VaseScan project, we are learning the depths of precision in some of the machining aspects of it. And Max is starting to learn, like, okay, there's some weird, like, radioactive characteristics of these things. Let's try and look at more and figure out some more. I mean, we can speculate a bit now, and I want to be clear, this is all very speculative at this point. Lots more testing and data is required to even shore up some of these theories about these possibilities. But the fact remains they are possibilities.
Right. And it's also this assumption that there's been a linear path of progression, always. But that's not even the case today, right? You can go to ancient sites, whether it is in Mexico or even in Greece, and you see really shitty construction right next to the Parthenon.
Yep.
Right? I mean, the Acropolis and the Parthenon is right next to crappy apartment buildings. They're really close, right?
Yeah.
That's a decay. That's you've obviously, you can't do, why didn't you do that? Right. Do that again. Like this.
Yeah, it's huge. It's
something, there's something weird. There's something weird going on. And this is like 2,000 years ago, where we knew who they were. We know the people. We know they did it. Like amazing precision, amazing construction methods, incredible art, incredible engineering and architecture, right?
Yes.
And all understandable, but yet more advanced than the techniques utilized in 2025 in the exact same area, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
So that's without a cataclysm.
Right. Well, yeah, it's also it's a nice criticism of modern architecture to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, don't even go back 2,000 years. Just go back to like the Gothic era with the churches and the cathedrals. I mean, Jesus, why don't we build like that anymore?
Right. Good point. But so you see a decline, at least in craftsmanship, that can be attributed to a changing of cultures, but this assumption that there's always this linear path of progression, and if you go back, they were dumb. You go back far enough, they were dumber.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be the case here. And Egypt is the best example.
It is.
Like, explain that.
Yeah, dude, exactly. And it's one of the biggest, it's one of the biggest contradictions about Egypt is it's the technological progression. I mean, you're talking about a dynastic Egyptian civilization, at least 3,000 years, right? So 3,000 years. But if you look at it from a technological progression perspective, it's almost like they went backwards the whole time. I mean, you have the emergence all of a sudden of this culture and language, like their gods. One of the craziest things about ancient Egypt is this emergence of hieroglyphs. Just boom, here it is. Here's this complex, extremely complicated language, cultural system, gods and everything pops out of nowhere. It's pretty consistent. It evolves over time. It doesn't change that much. I mean, cuneiform in Sumeria, there's a clear progressive path where we can see it being developed. We don't have that. That's not the case for ancient Egypt. And then it's all of the best stuff is the oldest. It's the biggest stonework, the Valley Temple, the 2,500 tons of granite in the King's Chamber structure that's in the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid itself, these things are amongst the very first pyramids ever said to have been built. Yet progressively, as you go forward in time, I mean, they get to mud brick pyramids. It's almost like you're going backwards. And there's just, technologically speaking, it doesn't seem like they progress very far. So I think there's another interpretation for that data, one that fits the evidence a little better, which is that I think they got a kick start. They got a head start. They inherited an awful lot of objects. We know for sure these precision objects were around before the ancient Egyptians. They don't match even the cultures that predated them. We have no idea where they got them from. I don't think they made them. We don't know how old they really are. And I think there's a lot of other artifacts and architecture on these sites that they match these, like technologically speaking. There's a link, the same tools, the same precision. We're seeing that. Yet these are massive artifacts, sometimes like a 1,000-ton statue, that you can't bury with you. It stays on this site. It gets inherited. It gets renovated. It gets reused. Eventually you get kings with hubris and arrogance, guys like Ramses II that says, carve my name 3 inches deep onto that sucker. Right. And it's going to be me. I want to be part of the gods. These are I want to tie myself to the ancients. And the really crazy thing is that doesn't often get admitted is that this is literally what the ancient Egyptians themselves said. They called themselves a legacy culture. They trace their own history back 40,000 years. They have a list of kings. They talk about these different eras of time. The Shemsu Hor, the followers of Horus, was this 12,000 year period where these mythical semi-divine beings walked the earth. You can talk about kings and rulers in that, and then before that you have Zep-Tepi when the gods themselves walked the earth, and they trace their own history way back into those eras.
That's the stuff that I brought up with Zahi, and he's like, "What is this?" He got very mad. It's funny. Yeah. I'm reading where I'm listening to the Book of Enoch right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's some wild shit too. Yeah.
It's so wild. You're going, what are you saying? Like, gods, the Watchers, came down and mated with women of Earth and created
Nephilim or whatever.
Yeah, the Nephilim. Like, what are you saying? Like, what were you trying to say? Thousands of years ago when they wrote this down.
Yep.
And the version I think that we're getting this from is from the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is from Qumran. Mm-hmm. So how long did they write it down before that? Like, how long did they discuss this? How long ago did this happen? And what are you saying? Like, what were they trying to record?
Yeah,
Why does it match up with what they're saying in Egypt? The gods walking amongst us?
Right. Yeah. It goes to some wild places.
Squirrely.
I know.
It gets so squirrely, and that's where you get into the alien camp.
Well, that 40 meter tic tac shaped metallic objects.
Yeah. What is that thing?
Well,
and what kind of metal?
We don't know.
Imagine if it's titanium.
Could be. He said it didn't match any signature that he'd seen before.
That's crazy,
dude,
in and of itself.
It's one of the things I'll remember always about when you were sitting here talking to Bob Lazar, and he said that some of those craft came from archaeological digs. I mean, it's a part of his story. There's long been rumors of that type of stuff under the ground in Egypt. I'm not saying that's what it is, but this is what Tim said about it.
Amazing.
It would be.
If there's a UFO down there. All layers converge at a central corridor or avenue like the atrium of a shopping mall where you can see all floors from one vantage point. My personal interpretation is that this entire hall was constructed to house a centrally positioned, freestanding object about 40 meters long. The central object is hard to classify. It appears metallic, not stone or wood. I named it Dippy after the giant Diplodocus skeleton in the Hintsey Hall of London's, did I say that right?
Yeah, Hints, I think.
Hints, Hall of London's Natural History Museum. It could be anything. Its shape resembles those tic-tac hard mints. It might also be an upright disc or even a colossal Shen ring. And what is a Shen ring?
It's like the cartouche. That thing around a cartouche.
Oh, wow. Big object alone raises profound questions. How did it get there? Why is it there? A more speculative theory is that it's some kind of portal. Oh boy, now we're going full tinfoil. Either interdimensional or interstellar, a Stargate. Its material signature is unlike anything I've seen in my entire career, but it's there, undeniably there. I'll let the future find out what Dippy is. Tim Akers. Well, he went full Art Bell right there.
He did.
Interdimensional or interstellar, a Stargate.
Hey, look, the Egyptians talk about Stargates.
Do they?
Dude, go to, where is it? Dendera. There's actually a couple places. The literal translation, you can read it on the walls. I always show people when we go there. There are 2 or 3 depictions of Stargates. That is the literal translation for it, showing a constellation with a gate, and it's a specific constellation. A couple of different types. They're all on different constellations.
Where can I find it? Where can I see this?
There's pictures of Stargates from Dendera Temple. I think it's in the upper rooms. It's up where the Zodiac. So that's actually the Dendera is incredible. Like it is a star-oriented temple. There's massive depictions of the Zodiac, and this is all, redone from older versions of the same temple. But that is the translation of what's on the wall with the constellation and the gate, and it literally translates as Stargate. That is part of it. So the ceiling is the Zodiac. You even have depictions of solar boats going up to the moon at Dendera. Randall loves that temple. I have sent him a lot of footage from that temple. No, it's actually, I don't know, you'd have to look up the just Stargate glyph maybe at Dendera. Yeah, glyph. I'll tell you if you see it. No, I don't see the exact one, but it's not. I mean, it's literally a cluster of stars that represents a constellation and a gateway behind it.
This is killing me.
I know. I probably have it on my hard drive.
Do you have it with you?
It's on my laptop. If you want to see it up, yes.
Yeah. Your laptop's out there?
Yeah.
All right, go grab it. We'll pause.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Not on what you gave me?
Huh?
Not on what you gave
It's not on that one. I didn't think we'd get into the Stargate glyphs, but I'm going to try and find it. I'll try and find it.
Okay.
All right.
We'll be right back, folks. Okay, so we found it from a video from Trevor Grassi on YouTube. The video is titled Hieroglyphic Proof of Stargate Technology with Mohammed Ibrahim, Mike Rick Secker, and Trevor Grassi. So this is what we're looking at.
So you see, it's like there's a glyph, you can see the star, and there's a gate. Actually, try and find one of the other pictures maybe. There's
the star's the circle. That's what the star's supposed to be?
Yeah, the star on the right. No, on the
far right.
There's the hieroglyph. So again, Stargate. You see the gate and then the star, and then I assume that crooked hook or whatever is part of this as well.
Oh, I see. So it's the way you translate the hieroglyph.
Yes. Yeah. So it's Muhammad Ibrahim, who I know quite well as well. He's very good at translating these glyphs. We when I travel in Egypt, we usually go with Professor Muhammad Jabra, who's one of, I would say, top 4 or 5 in the world for reading hieroglyphs. He can just read whatever's on the wall and tell you about it. He travels with us on these tours. It's phenomenal. He just shows us this. There's probably some better pictures of ones with the actual constellations up at Dendera if they get into. Yeah, but that one where they were standing next to each other, go back a little. Where is it? Back a little. There. Yeah, so see, this is the one I'm talking about. See the stars, the stars above the gates? So
yes.
There's literally different, these, and with the words, they relate to specific constellations. This is in the top, what's the Zodiac room at Dendera, where they have a replica of the circular Zodiac on the ceiling. The French have the original, but this is original hieroglyphs, and it is, the translation of this is literally Stargate for these constellations. So
that
say what it
is bananas. And what are these constellations supposed to be?
I don't know off the top of my head. We do tell people when we get into it. There is, I could find out, but I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Click that one that you just had there, Jamie. No. Where you just had all, right there. So,
yeah, more gates. They similar again. The gate with the crooked hook and the star.
Yes.
It's a Stargate.
That's bananas.
Yeah.
And so when they're referring to a Stargate, are they saying in any way what that means?
No, it's. I mean, most of the interpretations these days would tell you that it's always symbolic. I mean, they do look at like the Osiris and the constellations in the sky as being connected to the Duat or to Nut, like the Duat being the space, and Nut the goddess who is the sky, and it's all part of that passage from the soul going into the realms of the immortal that happens after death. So this is this symbolic interpretation that we give it all. We say, oh, this is none of this. It sort of falls into this category a little bit of like everything is symbolic, everything is ceremonial, nothing is functional. I'm fascinated by these temples because it goes back to something you were saying earlier. And I use this analogy to kind of set the stage for it. Imagine if Younger Drives happened to us tomorrow or whatever. I hope touch wood doesn't. But say it wipes out civilization, but we survive as humans. Within, 2-3 generations, we're sitting around campfires telling stories about fucking these things that were like a black rock, and it's just, and you it's like, or plasma TVs, but you say, look, if you get this shiny black rock, you can get answers from the ancestors. You will know everything. You can talk to anything. You can see anything.
You can ask it questions.
You can ask it questions.
Yeah.
And maybe you go and you start getting black rocks and making them like this, and you start dancing around the fire. You start ritualizing this memory of technology. Now, if you take that concept, like say there's a cataclysm and now there's people that remember and they tell these stories, the stories get passed down. Now imagine there's a civilization that comes up and it goes through thousands of years of structuring those legends and stories of technology. That goes through just distortions and representations and symbolism, but it's just twisting all of these stories into this iconography and this complex symbolism that we then, I think we go to a temple in Egypt that was made in the Ptolemaic era or whatever, and you see things on the wall. And I think there's a great way to interpret some of those symbols and some of the paintings to say that, well, is this actually an echo of something that was functional, or is an echo of technology? Like every staff that you see has a tuning fork on the bottom of it. Every single one on these walls, it's always got a tuning fork on it. What's that all about?
Tuning fork,
like a little like a tuning fork. Yeah, all of the staffs with the was head, that means power. Like literally the interpretation of this symbol is power on top of the staff, and every single one of them has a tuning fork on the bottom.
Can we see an image of that?
Yeah, you can look up any of the temples in Egypt and like the depictions of gods with staffs and they're touching, or they're giving like the Jed pillar, or the Ankh, which is Jed pillar is stability. The Ankh is life. The Was is power. So in a lot of cases, these gods are granting kings, life, stability, and power, or sometimes just life and power. But
what are those depictions of these enormous cylindrical things that they're holding? that look almost like one of those
Like a transformer?
Indian clubs. Yeah.
Like that one there, that's like the Jed pillar here.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
That's a great image. That literally is the symbol for stability. And
that thing down is what I was talking about.
the quote-unquote light bulbs, yes, at Dendera Temple. And see, there's a Jed pillar there too with the hands. So the Jed pillar is stabilizing it with its hands.
Right.
And you're on a boat. You're actually, part of this is on a boat.
It looks like some kind of technology.
So you know what's crazy about this? So again, we get down into this. This is in a crypt at Dendera. You have to like crawl through a hole and get. It's like an inside wall. It's amazing because the Christians and they didn't get into the crypt, so they couldn't deface the glyphs. Like a lot of the glyphs are defaced.
Look at that guy. He looks like an air traffic controller.
Well, he's like a reptilian too. He's that frog dude with knives.
Yeah, what is that, dude?
With a tail.
Does he have a fucking tail?
Yeah, he does.
He does look like he was like a giant frog man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's crazy about this, there is a whole story about this that is written on the walls. And again, this is thanks to my friend Yusuf Ayawan, who I guide with, and then Professor Jabra, who can interpret this. And I'm going to do a video about this soon, because what he is saying about this crypt is that it tells you on the wall that there was a physical version of that thing in that crypt. He said it was made from mostly gold, and it was the span of like a dude with his arms out, like the span of a human wingspan, basically.
I was stumbling across something. They called it Electrum. There's these two. They
metal.
Stole these 3.3 ton obelisks that were made out of a metal called Electrum.
Electrum.
Like gold and
silver. Yeah, Electrum's gold. So they definitely used gold and silver. A lot of the obelisks had Electrum tips, they think.
Great for conductivity.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I mean,
which is really the only good reason to have it, other than looking good.
Right. Yeah.
Other than balling.
Other than balling, which they were balling. Trust me.
It's going to be a little bit of a sidetrack, but when you're talking about the nuclear stuff, I found these stories of the Oklo mine in Gabon, which is a natural nuclear reactor.
Wow.
Whoa.
That is very
4
old.
billion years old and 100,000 working. Oldest nuclear reactor in history.
Uranium.
Oh, okay. It's enriching uranium.
Yeah.
It's probably
enriched uranium.
Yeah, imagine if
It's in Africa, so I don't know if it was the only place they've ever found.
That makes sense, right? And
It's in Africa.
Is there something like that in Afghanistan where this stone came from?
Oh, the lapis lazuli and everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I assume that I wouldn't be surprised if that sort of thing is happening somewhere in the massive uranium in Australia either, because that's like one of the world's biggest uranium deposits. I imagine if it's enough mass I think it's uranium-238, and they're trying to 235 to get to 238, or the other way around. But if there's enough mass and neutrons hitting each other, it might be enriching it somehow. I think that's probably what's happening there. I'm no nuclear scientist, so.
Right.
Say the wrong thing.
Let's go back to those hieroglyphs, Jamie. The lizard guy, the frog guy, or whatever that reptilian thing is, that freaks me out.
Oh yeah, it's the stuff of nightmares at times. It's kind of weird.
Because that's, one of the things that the weirdest, the weirdest stories when they start talking about aliens is the different types that visit.
Right.
And that one of them is a reptilian species that are the most creepy to deal with, which makes sense.
Heard the same thing. It would be. Yeah, I mean that
just
reptilian
like reptiles
brain.
on Earth.
Like chickens are assholes,
Right, they are. And so are Komodo dragons. And the idea that somehow or another they could eventually reach incredible levels of technological sophistication and intelligence. We kind of rule that out, but look, there's clearly primates that are way dumber than us, right?
Oh, for sure.
So why do we assume that it's only primates that reach an incredible high level of sophistication when we know that crows, which are really fucking close to dinosaurs, super smart, like smarter than most kids.
Yeah, problem solving smart.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, I don't think you can't put a restrictor on what evolution might produce.
Not at
in
all.
Any of these,
especially when intelligence is being exhibited by things that are really close evolutionarily to reptiles.
Yes. Yeah, and that would just be, you get to that, like, just lack of empathy, that reptilian brain, it's just aggression, and, like, everything that's not us is the enemy.
That's the mindfuck is smart dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
That was in Jurassic Park, right? The raptors, they were
clever
super
girl.
smart.